How are habits formed? The reason for any human behavior is always to achieve a specific outcome. That's pretty straightforward. This can mean to either fulfill a need or a desire, finish a task, and so on. We commonly try then different approaches through which we can reach our goal. The behavior that is most efficient eventually prevails, and we repeat the sequence when needed. This is then called a routine. In the next stage, when we repeat the same routine, it usually occurs under similar circumstances. Those circumstances can be perceived through our five senses, but associated through feelings or internal sensations, thoughts, or even via linked activity. If you remember the case of classical conditioning from before, these circumstances are presented here as a neutral stimuli. With repetitions, the neutral stimuli become conditioned and we start to associate these circumstances with the desired outcomes. Eventually, or better said, with enough repetitions, the circumstances transform themselves from being a neutral element in our lives to being a stimulus or a trigger for the habit. How? Well, you see, the same circumstances trigger a state of internal deficiency that can be felt as a physical, mental, or even emotional desire or a craving. This then triggers the most efficient type of behavior to reach that goal. Once the loop is fully automated, so meaning no more conscious effort is required for it to occur, it is called, you guessed it, a habit. I've listed some examples here. Mind though that these are possible sequences that can be wired in our brain, but do not constitute the only possible conditioned or reinforced response behavior. On the left side is the routine or a habit formation phase. The middle lists possible circumstances that can eventually be transformed into a triggering stimulus. The right side is the possible routine or a habit that is a result of the conditioned stimulus. That is why stimuli are not only important for mental or emotional associations, but pretty much for any human behavior. Feel free to check the summary section for additional materials about this powerful leverage to influence your behavior and ultimately your life.